snowboard. Like my mom's friends come up to me constantly.
Like Porter's parents love
yes,
it.
love it. Ellen loves it. So Ellen never comes up here.
All right, you go second, you go first, and we'll do some nice couple skiing.
Okay.
Hi skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com. Welcome back to my basement once again. Still working from home. Hopefully I'll be back in the actual studio, let's say safely within a month, I think is somewhat realistic. So sooner than later we'll be back in the Ski Essentials studio instead of down here in my basement. But it is what it is. We are reaching the end of April, which means we're reaching the end of our Stay Home Happy contest with Rossignol. So one more Rossignol review for you today. Excuse me. This is the Rallybird, which is essentially the women's version of the Sender, which is to my left. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but yeah, if you can in the next couple days, I would encourage you to enter that Stay Home Happy contest. You could win a pair of those skis. Really fun. I've been enjoying seeing kind of some of the creative entries. We're also doing a little bit of a side contest among our staff. So yeah, it's been fun. Been fun seeing people get creative from home and how people are staying happy. And you're also able to enter photos from ski season, earlier this season if you've got some kind of cool, fun skiing photos that you want to enter, or really anything. They don't necessarily have to be cool. Anything goes. So yeah, that's it. And now on to these BLACKOPS Rallybirds. You might be thinking to yourself, Jeff, how do you think you're going to review a women's ski? And well, I'm not really. We called up Allie yesterday. Allie is the skiessentials.com operational manager. So I called her up. She's working at the warehouse still, just coordinating all the shipments and all that kind of logistics stuff. So rang her up yesterday and had a quick conversation with her about her experience on these skis. This is actually her pair, which is why there's not a demo binding on these. There's a Look Pivot 12, which is a great binding for this ski. I would certainly recommend. So I'm going to go through construction, going to go through shape, talk about some differences between this ski and that ski, although there aren't too many. And then the second half of this video will be my conversation with Allie, which kind of, we focus more on performance in that than construction and that kind of stuff. So if you watched the Sender review that we did, a lot of that information carries over to these skis, but we're going to go through it again anyways. So rocker, camber, rocker shape. There's not really very high rise rocker, just a couple millimeters on each ski. You might not even be able to see it on this video because it's so subtle. That rocker, or that camber rather, it is pretty long. So about from my right hand to around where my left hand is. So pretty long camber. We just did a Revolt 104 review, which is over there. And if you remember, if you watched that, there was way more rocker in that ski. So pretty interesting, but this is a fairly straightforward shape in my opinion. Definitely directional. There's no twin tip on this thing. Definitely more tip rocker than tail rocker. And it's kind of got that smooth, it's not even really early taper. It's just kind of got that straight shape through the tip, which is starting to become more and more popular. The reason being because it's kind of got two different personalities. Basically, whether you're riding a flat ski and not engaging that portion of the ski, or if you tip it up on edge and you're bending the ski in a turn, you're actually engaging that part of the ski. So tip shape is great. I'm a big fan of that tip shape, and that's shape. So construction, basically the same recipe as we get in the Sender. Before I go through that, I think now is a good time to talk about this concept in general, which is something that Rossignol was really committed to this year. Each model within the BLACKOPS line, and even each length within that collection, even if they use the same materials, they're using them in slightly different ways. So something that I talked a lot about with our reps and product engineers and stuff like that is how these materials are used in different ways. And without getting into like actual details of which ski gets what, it's just really cool that, you know, they're committed to retaining the proper performance within each length, so they kind of custom tune the amount of materials and where they're used, and then the length of them and stuff like that in each ski. So pretty cool to see. So even though the recipe of these skis is the same as the sender, the way that the materials are used might differ, so then the lengths kind of have different personalities, so to speak. That's the best way to think about it. So construction is a Polonia wood core. Polonia is very lightweight, also very sustainable. In fact, these skis use a lot of recycled or sustainable materials, which is really cool. So Polonia wood core. They also get Diago fiber, which is a kind of a diagonal cross-hatching application, very, very similar to what we saw in carbon alloy matrix in years past. And then they get line control technology, which again are those vertical struts running through the ski. So there's basically like one on either side of the center of the ski, and they're laminated vertically. And in this ski, those are rubber. So we've seen a bunch of different materials used for line control technology: metal, ABS plastic, and in this ski, it's rubber. They also get rubber in the tip. It's called damp tech. And then they get an extended core. So actually the wood core itself goes further into the tip, basically further compared to the skis that these are replacing. The Sky 7 or Soul 7 would be the wider ski. But they do still have an air tip up here. It's, you know, if you remember the kind of the honeycomb tip style that was basically synonymous with Rossignol skis, it's still up there, but it's much shorter. So that's it. That's the construction. There is a TI version of these skis, just like there's a TI version of the sender. So the TI version is available in a longer length breakdown and gets an extra sheet of metal. These do have a partial sheet of metal underfoot. Pretty much the same exact conversation we had there with the sender. So if you want more, so to speak, there is a TI version of this ski. And then I also want to talk about the different lengths available in this. It goes from 154 to 170. That 154 has an 11 meter turn radius, and the 170 is a 16 meter turn radius. So a little bit different personalities there depending on what ski you choose, and that kind of goes back to what I was saying about how they're engineering each length in a specific way. So before we get to Allie's feedback, these things are awesome. They're very, very, very versatile. They actually do really, really well on groomers. You know, I talked about that a lot when we did this ski. I skied this quite a bit and was pretty impressed by its groomer performance. You know, you don't need to go with the TI version to get vibration damping and power and all that stuff. And then you get a lot more versatility out of this ski too. It's lighter. It's really, really fun in soft snow. In my opinion, it retains a lot of the good things about those Sky 7s, but it kind of boosts their performance overall, gives them more stability, more edge grip. They're really fun. I mean, like I said, I haven't skied this particular ski, but I've skied the sender. I have actually skied the women's Rallybird TI. But that's it. I'll leave my part there for now. So the rest of this video will be me chatting with Allie. As usual, let us know if you have any questions. In this situation, I think let me know if you have any questions specifically for Allie. I'm sure she'd be happy to answer them. She's skied these quite a lot. Like I said, this is her pair and she's had them for a while now. So feel free if you want me to ask or relay any questions to Allie, and I'll get a response from her. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the conversation with Allie. And that's it. That's the Rossignol Rallybird and another ski in this new BLACKOPS collection. So thanks, guys. We'll see you soon. Hi, Allie. How are you?
Hi, Jeff. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Looks like you're there in our studio.
Holding it down here in the warehouse.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it. I know all of our customers appreciate all the warehouse staff's commitment, and I appreciate it sitting here at home. So it's we're reaching the end of the month of April here, so we're reaching the end of kind of our Rossignol month, so to speak, and I wanted to bring you into this because Rossignol, they got you a pair of those Rallybirds gosh, a while ago, right?
I would say right after Christmas.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. So you've had them for a while, um, and I believe you have the 170 length, correct?
I do, and I loved it.
Cool. So yeah, I thought we would just chat a little bit about your experience on them. You know, I've skied the men's sender version, and we talked about that, but a little different in this women's version. You know, we get narrower waists. So basically, the 170 length that you were on has a 102 millimeter waist, which you know is getting a little narrower than the men's. But yeah, I thought we would just get your feedback on it. So let's start with kind of just groomer performance because that's usually what we start with. So what do you think? How do you feel on groomers?
You know, originally I thought the 170 might be a little long for me, but when I got on the groomers, I was really happy to be on that length. It really provided the power that I needed, edge grip. It was easy to move around, but I felt sturdy, stable, and I could make quick turns if I really wanted to. But in general, I was making much longer, wider turns, and I felt a good power beneath my feet when skiing them.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, I think that's something that we're finding with these skis in general is, you know, they have with the Sender and the Rallybird, they have the TI version and the non-TI version. And I think when you look at that, it's really easy to think in your head like, oh, the non-TI version's probably not going to be very powerful, not going to be very stable. But I think all of us have been pretty impressed by those non-TI version skis in the sense that they're pretty stable, they're pretty responsive, and yeah, they're really fun on groomers.
Yeah, I was very impressed that there was no metal in the ski. It skied similar
Yeah.
to all of my other skis with two sheets of metal. I felt extremely stable, no chattery, no, bumping along or even vibrations through the ski. The construction was, definitely leads to this great stable ski.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So in this ski, they're using so pretty much all these Black Ops skis they have rubber in them. They call it damp tech, so that's a big part of it. And then the ski that you have has rubber. Like I don't know if you remember talking about line control technology. So there's like vertical struts running through the ski, and those struts in your Rallybird is actually rubber. So I think it's really cool the way that they get the ski to feel damp and smooth and powerful with those kind of unique materials. Now, I remember this day vividly because it was pretty deep and it was also like crazy windy and really cold. But we got to take these out, or you got to ski these on a pretty deep day with probably 8 inches to a foot of snow already. So what did you think of them on kind of a powder day?
On the only, I think we only took a couple runs on them. I did get
Yeah.
them in powder another day with less steep. I was impressed again with the ability to float. They're only 100 and they're not true powder, but they're kind of more in the all mountain range, and they could do it all. The tip shape allowed me to get into those turns and float on top. The weight of the ski is so nice with that rubber in there. I was able to maneuver and hop through my turns if I needed to get out of a sticky situation.
Yeah.
I was really impressed. I was right on top, or kind of floating in there, as the footage will show you. A little sliding, but it was a fun ski to get out there. The width definitely helped, but again, that weight really was what impressed me in the powder.
Yeah, and I think that's an important thing to note about these skis, and I'm glad you brought that up. Um, it was definitely not the same day, but there was another day when we went out, and you skied through Bob actually shot this footage. There's some great footage of you and Ryan, kind of just like casually skiing through some really low angle trees. Sometimes in terrain like that on a ski like this, especially in a longer length, which like you said, 170 is like kind of longer for you than normal. Sometimes skis like that can feel just challenging and hard to maneuver, but it didn't look like you were having any trouble at all.
No, and especially with that tail shape, you wouldn't think that I would be able to maneuver as easily
Yeah.
as I was, but because of the construction of the ski and the lightweightness, Even at that 170, I was able to release my tails and kind of wiggle my way through those. They weren't quite tight trees, but trees.
Yeah. No, and I think, I mean, it's pretty flat in there. So when you want to make, when you want to make a turn, it's you really feel the shape of the ski, because you're not on like a super steep pitch where it's easy to unweight your tail, so to speak. So I thought that was really cool to see them perform well. We skied to kind of bring up a totally different day and a totally different ski. You skied that Blazer quite a bit too, which has more tail rocker. But yeah, I think the maneuverability of this Rallybird is still really good.
I do too.
Cool. Anything you want to add? Anything you want to tell our viewers before we end?
I always like to comment on the graphics, and I know that's not really everyone's point of interest, but Rossignol kind of came out with a great new graphic this year with their marble look, and they've definitely stepped up in this Rallybird series, and it's definitely something that people should get out there and try, because it's going to be different than any Rossi ski they've skied before.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think that's an important thing to remember is this is different. These are quite a bit different than the freeride Rossis that they're replacing, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Allie, I appreciate it. I'll let you get back to managing our staff over there, making sure Harrison's behaving and shipping out orders and all that good stuff.
Monday morning, we got lots to ship today.
Yeah, no, it's great. Thanks again. Hopefully I'll be back. Yeah, you too. Hopefully I'll be back there soon physically, but we'll see. Okay, thanks, Allie.
Bye.